we are attempting to progress through to the underworld, and we're gonna be reaching it today. Now, I'm gonna be honest, this episode will definitely be quite grindy, considering the fact that we have to get over 10 level ups in just a single episode. However, since we're early game, the progression should be pretty nice. Also, you astute observers may notice that I actually got quite a bit of a better set. Yeah, I got a full purple set of barbaric mage armor, and with this set, I'm literally able to one-shot all of the monsters. It is insane. So we should be able to just like cruise through this dungeon. And yeah, we already leveled up to level 71. This is what I mean. But truly, how could you hate this dungeon? This is truly like one of the best dungeons in the entire game. I absolutely love the theme and atmosphere, and all of like the individual areas look very, very cool. Even though this dungeon is quite a bit older, I do think if the idea is very good, it will carry the dungeon. And really, it's not too difficult. But boys and girls, Underworld is gonna be actually crazy. Underworld is where kind of a huge step up in difficulty happens, especially with the bosses. However, I know I'm capable of doing it. And man, after that, it'll be Samurai Palace, and I'm really excited. Ladies and gentlemen, we are reaching the good period of Noob to Godly, and we're already 3 episodes in, so if you have not already, you should definitely subscribe, because good things are to come. Also, I have to say it, but rate the drip. Look at this W combo. The full set and legendary combo actually looks super clean. And because we got a legendary last episode, we should be able to trade for one from King's Castle, which I believe is the Beastmaster's spell scythe. But here we are on the King, which is one of the most interesting bosses in the game. You definitely have to do quite a bit of walking. Really, this boss is just running simulator, I swear. Also, yo, we do most of his health in one cycle. That is crazy. We should really just be able to tear through this dungeon. But with that, we got a purple sword. To be honest, I'll take that. But if you didn't watch the last episode, we went and collected 11 crystals across lobby 1 and got this legendary title. And boys, this is in preparation for the new boss raids tier that's actually gonna release, called Hella Awakens. And something I didn't know is that if you're under level 100, boss raids literally won't show up for you. It's crazy. They just hide the entire thing. And if you look at the top of the screen, you will see that we're doing hardcore mode. And I really don't know if we're gonna be able to do this. I think if we're very careful, it should be pretty easy, considering the fact that we do one-shot the mobs. However, since we're glass cannon, any attack will one-shot us. But if we can complete this on hardcore, this will be the first dungeon, I think, since Desert Temple. Yeah, it has been quite a while since we've actually done hardcore. Really, this series has been going very smooth so far. But truly, do not expect the progression to be this fast, because trust me, it will get much slower as we progress through the game. Really, I think it slows down quite a bit around steampunk sewers, and then a lot more in volcanic chambers. And then past that point, it doesn't slow down too much until we hit Yokai Peak. But ladies and gentlemen, running a mage is definitely going to be a little bit interesting. Really, I've never played through this game as a mage, so a lot of these abilities will be kind of new to me, and it should just be an interesting playthrough. And trust me, this series will be much better than the last one, and it'll be especially fun when we reach like huge dungeons such as Ghastly Harbor, canals, and of course some much higher ones like Northern Land. And also we got to level 72, which means we're just a few levels away from Nightmare mode. And really, I have full confidence that we will be able to do Nightmare. However, we probably will have to get a little bit of gear. But obtaining gear in the early game is honestly extremely easy. Like, people will just give it to you for free. But I think the king should be dead. And we got, oh yeah, we did hardcore. I completely forgot. So we got 2 items, but we got also 2 pieces of trash. If I'm being honest, I completely forgot we were doing hardcore. That's how crazy this set actually is. Really, one thing about Noob to Godly is it makes you much better at the game and really gives you a more overall knowledge of how progression actually works. Really, I think since the last Noob to Godly, I've become a much better player. And it's really just learning like the different types of monster patterns and learning kind of the same repetition and same enemy styles. Because really, most dungeons just kind of repeat monster styles from previous areas. Like Yokai Peak, kind of repeating the King's Castle style of monster. And of course, Northern Lands repeating what Aquatic Temple did. If you can kind of learn to recognize these patterns and how to dodge them, you will become a much better player. But really, skill only matters at the very late game, and of course when new dungeons release. because when a new dungeon drops, it is entirely based on skill. And even if you're the most powerful player, if you're not good at the game, you won't be able to win. And I really hope that Voldex doesn't take that away with pay to win. We've kind of been getting to that territory, but we're not there yet. Like, you can buy health boosts and speed boosts, but they really don't do that much. Like, they kind of barely help you. And I hope it stays that way, because if you could buy, like, damage boosts or auto-complete dungeons, this game will be, like, entirely ruined. I'm not gonna lie. Really, I don't think anyone wants that for the game. And I think we've definitely reached, like, the limit on how far pay-to-win should really go. But we've just been speeding through these dungeons. I'm on quite literally a no-hit solo, and I'm playing pretty casually right now. Really, the biggest thing for this boss is just hold one direction and run. That's pretty much the entire boss fight. If you're good at running in a straight line, you will be very good at this boss. But I really don't know how we'll do a nightmare. Like, we probably won't be able to do hardcore until we get a legendary, which I can almost guarantee we'll be able to get in this video. And that will also help us with the underworld. And we once again got trash. I didn't realize, but I actually have this like pretty solid staff that does nearly double the damage of my legendary. Well, I guess I'm kind of forced to use it. While the drip is definitely not dripping, it does do a lot more damage. I think definitely early game, warrior is a much worse class than mage, especially when mage has spells like skull flames and illusion blast. I feel like mage is pretty hard to compete with, but when it comes to late game, warrior absolutely carry. But I really like mage a lot more just because it has the ability to heal without switching to a staff. I know that's kind of like a small ability, but I think it's just so much better than doing a little bit of damage with your sword. Especially on like hardcore solos, to be able to just quickly heal is very nice. But outside of that, the two classes have relatively no difference. Also, oh my gosh, I literally one-shot the boss. Yo, this is insane. This damage is literally insane. Look at that. Look, bro, how am I one-shotting bosses? That is insane. But also, we did level up to level 73. And I would assume if you're watching this episode, you likely are higher level than me right now. But if you somehow are not, definitely try to progress through this game to get to at least level 100. Why I say that is because once you hit level 100, you really unlock so much more stuff. And really getting from level 1 to 100 is extremely easy. But what you unlock when you hit level 100 is boss raids, of course, along with rings, and many other things. Oh my, no, bro. He was at 53,000 health. Yo, nah, that is insane. Okay, well, I guess we're gonna retry. Like I was saying, progression in the early game is extremely fast, so you should definitely utilize it to get to at least an important point. But I would say if you're like above level 100, really just try to go to the highest dungeon, because in the end, it will always be worth it. And I think if you utilize the global party system in a smart way, you will be able to get there pretty quickly. Like, I think you can go from like noob to max in a couple of days if you're very, very grindy. And use my series as motivation. I've already done a complete noob to godly series. So yeah, if I could do it as a single player, you could do it with multiple people. There's no excuses. Because ladies and gentlemen, a new dungeon, while it's probably not coming soon, you should definitely kind of prepare for it. Because I assume that when it drops, it's gonna be big. Even Dungeon Quest, yeah, they actually have an official YouTube channel, has hinted at making a new dungeon. But if you're not subscribed to them, definitely subscribe to them, because, bro, I swear, every single video they do, they get, like, absolutely flamed in the comments. Like this guy saying we should fire the social media manager, and then the official Dungeon Quest YouTube channel said, your comments are hurting my feelings. And yeah, just the comment sections are absolutely hilarious. So boys, maybe that's the first announcement to a new dungeon. And while I do think it's definitely great that Dungeon Quest is kind of going into like different platforms, such as YouTube, I definitely think that this is not the route to go. Like bro, most people are just hating on their content so hard. And I'm not gonna lie, I somewhat agree, because it is a little bit cringe. I mean, it's definitely better than no content, but it's like this attention could be going to like a dungeon or something. And bro, oh my gosh, I died to the king again. I swear, if you don't walk in like the most perfectly straight line, he will insta-kill you. There is no leniency whatsoever. But I've kind of done a little bit of research on when the next dungeon might drop, and a lot of people are saying November, and I really hope that isn't true, because November is a very long time. I really think this should be the topic of more discussion. Like, quite literally, no one talks about the next dungeon, and it's like kind of the whole reason why we play this game. While the side updates are cool, we want really the main content, and if we really have to wait till November, it will be kind of sad. Oh my gosh, I'm at 889 health. Please, please, please. But for the next like mainline update that they're gonna do, it's gonna be a new boss raids, I guess, dungeon, which to be honest is kind of cool, but it cannot really replace the new dungeon. But what I'm gonna try to do is reach level 100 so that we can actually play it in Noob to Godly. I think it drops in a couple of days, so we will kind of have to go crazy with Noob to Godly. But if we could play the actual boss raids in Noob to Godly, that would be kind of crazy. So boys, we're gonna have to like speed run this game. Really, this lighting through the window looks absolutely sick. I really think this dungeon holds up pretty well for its time. Considering the fact this was made like 4 or 5 years ago, it holds up very well. And of all dungeons to really be reworked, I think this would be one of the last ones. I think dungeons like the Underworld and Pirate Island could use quite a bit of a rework. But even King's Castle, just some minor touch-ups would really fix it. But with that, we should kill this guy. And we reached level 74 and also got Chain Heal. Yo, I'll take that for a pretty good drop. Now, one kind of unfortunate thing is that I did collect my daily reward, so we won't really have that as a crutch when we reach the Underworld, but we will still be making it in this episode. And to reach Nightmare Mode, I think we're gonna hop on a little bit of Wave Defense. The reason why I don't play Wave Defense as much as I used to is really because of Greg, and that you can't get him in Wave Defense. I think Greg is probably like the main reason why you'd want to play normal dungeons, just because he gives you so many more items and also gives you materials, which are extremely important. Really, you either get him like a bunch of times in a row or nothing at all. Also, look at the king and freaking Wave Defense. I swear he could like jump out of the arena. That's how big this man is. I would say of all bosses, this one is probably the hardest just because of how precise your movements have to be. Also, yo, where is this man? Oh, but like I was saying, I think the precision of that boss makes him quite annoying and not as fun to fight. Man, Skull Flames is such a good spell. Or I guess Phantom Flames now. I keep calling it Skull Flames. But this spell just has so much range and it hits so many monsters at the same time. It is the holy grail of beginner spells. And I can really feel that progression is getting quite a bit faster, considering the fact that we already got half a level up. But really what makes Wave Defense so good is that the monsters are just so close. And instead of having to walk like a mile to get to the next area, you just have to walk a very short amount of distance. And you can really just stack up that XP. I really see it as a potential thing that Dungeon Quest will drop like an entire Wave Defense update, bringing it to the higher dungeon. I know they haven't really talked about it, but it would be just a very easy change for them to implement. Especially for pro players, that update would really be beneficial to the game. It could add like a new level of competition to see who could get to the highest wave. But I think if they were to bring back Wave Defense, they should give it some better rewards. Like especially for higher level dungeons. I think maybe if you hit like wave 300, you get a cool legendary cosmetic or something. Just give a little bit more of an incentive to actually play. I personally think that would be a very great monthly update. Also, we should drop some items. Yep, we got a literal trash weapon. I actually don't know like the tier 1s and tier 2s, so I don't know if that's good. I think it'll be this group of monsters where we level up. And yep, we are now level 75. So I guess we'll go and attempt Nightmare Mode. Now, if I check my inventory, I think I do actually have a pretty decent Nightmare set. Yeah, I have the Archmage robes and a blue Archmage helmet. And yo, look at this drip. I didn't know how it was possible, but we somehow got even drippier. And I think I'm gonna make it kind of normal where I just kind of trade for all of the armor that I need before the episode starts. Because let's be honest, trading in this game is extremely boring. And here we are on Nightmare Mode. I think we'll probably be able to one-cycle the mobs. Oh wow, more than one cycle. We can one-shot the mobs, yo. And really, it's the road to the Underworld. And I think when we hit like level 77 or something, I will go ahead and trade for a Beastmaster spell scythe, which is the legendary for King's Castle. And we don't even need it, bro. Like, we already do so much damage. Really, this might even be easier than Insane Mode, which I don't even know how that's possible. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at kind of a high in this series. And truly, things will only go up from here. This is really really gonna be the only difficult boss. And even this boss is kind of easy. Like, to be honest, we really could do hardcore. Like, I see no chance of us not being able to beat it. This damage is crazy. I swear, this armor looks beautiful. Like, this looks like it comes out of the high level dungeons. The neon color contrast and just the weapon especially looks so nice. Well, here we are on the king of running in very straight lines. But he should be dead. And we got a pretty good battle axe. I swear, my item drops would say that this series has been deliberately trying to get me to be warrior. However, we can't do it. But I think we could probably go and do hardcore and be pretty successful in that. Well, hopefully we can do this. Really, if I play as carefully as possible, this should be pretty easy. I mean, I was able to casually do it in Insane. I think we could hit level 76 here. Oh, all right, let me get a heal right here. I love Chain Heal. Chain Heal is just such a nice healing spell. It's very good for pretty much any player. Although you really don't need a healing spell if you don't play hardcore. And we leveled up to level 76. This area right here is a pretty big trap. Especially with two groups of monsters. They can very easily hit you if you're not careful. Oh my gosh, I'm at 500 health. Yo, chill. Alright, well, we managed to beat him. Man, I truly love this dungeon. It's like the perfect length for a dungeon, while having a lot of very cool, intricate paths. And even a little bit of backtracking at the kind of stairway area. But we're on the final boss, and this will determine whether we're able to complete hardcore or not. And since we're in nightmare mode, we'll be able to get cosmetics along with legendaries and collectibles. But if I got a cosmetic, I would be extremely happy. I didn't get my first cosmetic in the first Noob the Godly until Steampunk Sewers. So to get one any earlier would be very nice. No! Oh my. Well, dude, that's so annoying. Well, I guess we were not able to do it. Alright, well, this will be the round. I don't know how I died last time. The parts that are mainly difficult are the second and third boss, with the one area of monsters where the two groups are kind of facing towards you. I think it's the area after the first boss, but we are locked in this time. We will win, and we will also make it to the underworld. And likely after this game, we will actually go and trade for a Beastmaster's War Site, which should not be too difficult to obtain. Yeah, this section right here, you have to just back out immediately. Do not run into that section or you will die. Oh, this is scary. I don't one cycle the bosses, so I'm kind of hanging around for a little bit. The longer you spend, the more likely you are to die. I know that's kind of obvious, but it's kind of what makes Glass Cannon good in hardcore. You wouldn't think it would be good, but if you're able to do that quick damage, you can really quickly speed through the dungeon, which will subsequently lead to you likely not taking damage. But one thing I kind of need to do is definitely clear out my inventory. One of the things I hate most in this game is selling stuff. It is annoying and tedious. There really needs to be like a quick sell option, because this is so archaic and primitive, and especially when you have like multiple alts and you're doing like hundreds of runs a day, it is brutal trying to sell all that stuff. To be honest, the quick sell option has been wanted since the very start of the game. Also, sell locking on things like legendary spells, although this is the boss that's gonna make or break runs. All right, we got him this time, like I said we would. And also we hit level 77, so I suppose we will go ahead and trade for a legendary. And we are back in lobby 1, and you guys know the drill. We're gonna be trading for the Beastmaster's spell site, and I'll cut to when I find a trade. Okay, I think I found a player who has it. And yeah, I don't know if it's like good pop, but it is fully upgraded. So I guess I'll trade this and like a bunch of purple weapon. Yeah, I think this should be good. I gave him a pretty decent offer. Okay, and I guess he accepted the trade, and he also said lowball but fine in the chat. Hey bro, that's not a lowball. Okay, actually tell me, did I lowball that guy? But ladies and gentlemen, look at this weapon. This stuff looks so clean. I definitely say it doesn't match as much as the other weapon I was using. However, it still looks pretty nice. But ladies and gentlemen, let's make it to the underworld and make it through this, I guess, final stretch of King's Castle. 3 more levels, that's all we need. Hopefully we can just speed through this and make it to the underworld. And I'm pretty excited to reach the underworld. While it's not one of the best dungeons out there, I do really like the enemy patterns and just how the map is kind of laid out. I do think a rework would be necessary, but the theme of it and all of the bosses are very fun to fight, along with the fact that it has some of the best looking armor out there. Especially the glorious maid stuff, I might just dedicate myself to getting that. But we're nearly there. But one kind of huge nitpick I would have about the underworld is similarly to King's Castle, it makes you run a lot. I swear, you have to run an entire marathon just to get from monster group to monster group. And it is significantly worse in the underworld, which is why wave defense will be such a godsend. What King's Castle does the best is I think it really utilizes the different set pieces in the different areas of monster groups and bosses very well. Like having an archmage in the library and a king in the throne room. And I think this map just kind of transitions from place to place in a very cool way. You really don't appreciate these things on first playthrough, but as you continue to play the game like over and over again, you kind of appreciate how the dungeons are laid out, especially the build up to the final area. And I decided not to do hardcore just for like the extra safety. And I really don't even need gear from King, so I don't like, it doesn't matter that much. And we beat the dungeon to get literally what I already have, but worse. Well, we're back in wave defense, and maybe we can do this until the very end, but I'm not gonna lie, I kind of doubt it. The progression has kind of slowed down a little bit, but if we can at least make it to level 79, we can grind a few last rounds. I think one really cool thing this dungeon did was they introduced a lot more monster groups. Whereas the first two dungeons really just had like only two groups of monsters, like mages and warriors. This one introduced hitmen, king's guards, and a lot more stuff, which really became important for dungeons like Ghastly Harbor and the much newer stuff, and made the dodging a lot harder in this game. Also, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize it, but with this legendary, I can one cycle the boss. Really insane. I am literally spawn killing these guys. That's how easy it is. I think we'll probably go until we get a title, which I believe is called King's Defender. I don't think in my last Noob to Godly I got a single title. We also leveled up to level 78, which is kind of crazy. To be honest, I can just casually play this. And we got, oh my gosh, a pretty trashy staff. I think it's probably like wave 25 when we'll actually get the title. But yeah, I've never gotten it, so I'm kind of excited. The grind is real. Maybe wave 20? Who knows? Potentially wave 25? Who knows, bro? I'm about to hit Underworld just through doing wave defense. And no, we did not get a title, bro. When are we gonna get this stuff? To be honest, I'll just leave when we hit level 79. I think really once you get a legendary in older dungeons, it just becomes so easy. And trust me, it does not stay that way when we get to the later dungeons. Around like volcanic chambers, you need the full set along with the legendary. The legendary just complements it. But for me, like I get entirely carried by this legendary. And we got the title called King's Defender. Finally. All right, well, it's wave 30 when you actually get that stuff. So I suppose we'll just go back to doing regular run. And I think this time we'll do hardcore. I decided to do hardcore just because it's probably a bit easy. Like, I see no reason why we would ever die. I think we like one-shot the bosses. So we should go pretty crazy. But really, just a level in, just a tiny bit left. We are nearing the end. Well, nearing the end of King's Castle. And to be honest, I'm kind of excited to leave the dungeon, because at this point, it has gotten a little bit repetitive. And Underworld would be pretty insane. However, Samurai Palace is where things will go absolutely wild. I think once you get past Ghastly Harbor, you kind of reach like the intermediate level, to where you're no longer like a beginner and you're actually pretty progressed in the game. And we're quite a bit above halfway to that point. I think this boss should give us our second to last level up. Yup, one more left. Oh my, bro, how am I dying with such a good set? That is pathetic. Well, I guess I didn't know, but King's Castle Nightmare Hardcore will actually be kind of a challenge. Really, this dungeon has gotten a little bit repetitive. I've already played this 3 times in Noob to Godly, so really once we get to Samurai Palace, we'll be exploring semi-new content. Because above that point, I've never really progressed as a mage. This boss is like the most annoying part of this entire dungeon. Really, he should have just had more attacks and just making you run in a perfectly straight line. That's nothing but tedious and annoying. But let's see what we get. 2 of the exact same thing. Okay. I think like 2 more games until we finally make it to the Underworld. Really, the final stretch, man. This final stretch has taken a lot longer than I would have thought. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. King's Castle is quite a bit harder than the previous dungeons. However, Underworld heavily exceeds it. Like, Underworld reaches a new level of crazy, especially on the bosses. So I don't think a hardcore solo will be that easy. I likely won't be able to do it. Especially bosses number 1 and 2 are very difficult. The last little bit, man. The last little sliver of XP. Hopefully the king gives me enough XP. I think he should. Hopefully I can kill this guy so I don't have to do another run. But with that, the final king has been killed, and we also got the cosmetic title called expert, which I mean, I guess we're kind of an expert. I really don't know why I'm inside of the lobby, because usually I would go and collect my daily, but I kind of already collected it beforehand. So I guess we'll try to get like a good set of underworld armor, or we're not going to be able to do this. And we're back with a slightly better set. I would say that it's mid at best, but we did get a purple mage armor, which is pretty decent. But we didn't get like any weapons or spells. But what I really like most about this set is it is actually so drippy, bro. Look at this drip. I look like some alien bandit or something. But man, let's go and play Underworld for the very first time. Ladies and gentlemen, after such a long time, we finally made it to Underworld. This has truly been a grind. Also, I literally have to say it, but this like color scheme with my title, weapon, and armor just looks so nice. Yeah, this is honestly one of the drippiest sets I have ever used. And testing out our damage, oh wow, yeah, we one-shot the mobs, okay. Well, this is definitely not even gonna be that hard. Really, it's Skull Flames, which is allowing us to do this much damage. Phantom Flames is a must-have spell if you're a mage in the early game. I swear, this spell single-handedly has been carrying me through this dungeon. But a little history lesson on this dungeon. It introduced kind of like mini boss monsters, such as this Elder Dark Mage. It also introduced a lot more difficult and intricate monsters. And the thing I definitely love most about this dungeon is you have a lot of space to dodge the monsters. They give you like an entire arena over there and just quite a wide area. And this is good because enemies attack very like thick lines. Like the line attacks on these guys are very wide, so you have to have more space to dodge. I think Samurai Palace kind of differed to this as it made like less like thinner lines, except they would attack a lot faster. But here we are on the very first boss called the Demonic Overgrowth. Also, oh my bro, we just died on his first thing. Okay, I'm telling you right now, the bosses in this dungeon are very difficult, but really the most difficult part about this is having to walk like 10 miles to get from place to place. When it gives you a lot of space to dodge, it also makes you have to run so far. Also, bro, oh my, how did I die again? Okay, well, this guy is spawn killing me. Also, this title just synergizes very well with the dungeon. Hella Awakens. Insane armor and dungeons are honestly some of my favorite armors in the game because they're simplistic, but at the same time look very nice. And I think the simplistic armors look a lot better in this game. But this really just shows how massive this dungeon is. It gives it a much more appealing look, but can be very annoying. But what's nice about Phantom Flames is you can just kind of set it and move on to the next group. Especially with one-shotting, you can just set it and forget it, bro. It's very nice. Maybe I'm just yapping. Well, I think the map in Underworld is very, like, just not detailed. I think they do a great job on everything else. Also, oh my gosh, I just dodged those monsters completely. Alright, well, we're on the Culvermar, so this boss is more just difficult in the way that he traps you in a very small area. So you have to be very careful with how you kind of dodge his attacks because you don't want to trap yourself. It's kind of a cool idea for a boss that was very much utilized in a lot higher dungeon. Also, we are already like 75% of the way to leveling up, and we are not even at the final boss. That is crazy. If the progression stays this way, I will be happy. But man, here we are on the Demon Lord Azurek. Azurek? I don't know how to pronounce that. But this is a cool walkway. Like, the build up to this fight is amazing. This dungeon is truly great, and a very big highlight in the progression of this game. We really don't see a final boss area like this throughout the entire game. This is the most unique one, really. That's the one thing I'll say about this dungeon, is it's very cinematic. Also, he just spit out his heart, which is another concept we really didn't see. To be honest, for the better, because these attacks really just slow down the fight, which I don't really like. It's a cool concept, but I don't like how it slows things down. Similarly to attacks that you're not actually able to hit the boss on, such as the first boss in Yokai Peak, where he flies away. I really like always being able to hit the boss. And he's summoning these like blood minion guys, but we don't need to fight him because we beat the boss. Man, that was crazy. But we also got, I believe, a mage spell called Inferno Orbs. Next episode, I'll probably buy extra item because I'm tired of getting one thing. But ladies and gentlemen, I have episode 4 on the screen for you guys, so definitely go check it out because we will be progressing through the Underworld and just maybe making it to Samurai Palace. But for now, I'll see you guys later.